Hi, my name is Lisa Buddha, and I am an intuitive coach and environmental energy consultant. I help women clear their energy from blocks and fears to help them transform their relationships in life to live an existence of joy, peace, and fun. And with me today, I have Cindy Carnes, which she's always with me. So yay, Cindy, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cindy Carnes. I'm the CEO of Empowered Hours Club. I help women who are stuck and overwhelmed, entrepreneurs, create unstoppable momentum and revenue while freeing up their time so that they can enjoy the fruits of their success.
Yay, 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 yay. Well, and today, for this episode, we are talking about gratitude. And I have a couple of questions. So, when you think about gratitude, Cindy, what do you think gratitude is? Like, how do you get to gratitude?
How do I get to gratitude?
Yeah, because it's like for me, it always feels like I'm reaching for gratitude, like trying to get gratitude or have it come to me. How do you do that? What is it, even like physically or even mentally or spiritually? What do you do to feel that gratitude?
Yeah, so gratitude definitely is, I think for me, it's creating a habit of gratitude. It's being thankful. It's being thankful for things that are happening in my life. But I started thinking about this question a little earlier on this morning. And as a young child, we're taught to say thank you, right? So when people do something for us, we're taught to say thank you. But I realized it was like just because that's good manners. But I really started thinking about it. And it's really, yes, it's good manners, but it's also getting in that habit of gratitude. So thanking people for doing nice things for you, thanking your employer, or thanking the universe for bringing in money for into your accounts, however that money comes into your life, or anything. It's like, oh, I lost a particular item. And so a few weeks ago, we talked about intuition. And so when I get that little thought like, hey, go check XYZ place, and I find the item that I'm looking for, I'm like, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Oh, that's perfect. Perfect. The the whole thing with like doing the thanking, that I totally in my life happens every day. So everything that I am doing, I'm usually thanking, and it's normally the universe or source. That's what it is for me. And doing that actually definitely keeps that feeling of gratitude always within me. I love that, and I love the whole example of like finding stuff, because that's amazing. Even when you find money, it's like, yay.
Right. I've gone through a little exercise of, even if I find a penny on the ground, right? Because it's like, yes, I got paid. Thank you. I found a penny. It was a penny that I didn't have an hour ago or 5 minutes ago or yesterday. So yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so this one's a little different. So what tragedy or trauma happened to you in the past that you are now grateful for today because that happened?
Yeah. So of course, there's probably many, many different examples. So the first thing that comes to my mind is, for those that don't know my story, I was, before being a full-time entrepreneur, I was a business analyst in software development for an airline. And I was on a business trip, and I actually had a minor health scare. But of course, my mentality was that I'm on this business trip because the projects that I was managing at the time were falling apart. And so I wasn't going to allow my business teams, my IT teams, my executive teams fail. And so on that particular trip, it was the last day of that trip, I actually started showing symptoms of a stroke. I started out with losing control of my right arm. I ignored the symptoms. By the end of that day, I was in a complete tremor on my right side, still ignoring the symptoms, flew home. I had a seizure, which then sent me to the hospital and they discovered a blood clot. So I was stroking out.
Ugh.
And at the time, when you're so in it and you're deep in the woods, it's like, okay, wow, all these things are happening. I now have to rethink about how I'm living my life. I think, how am I going to be away from work? Luckily for me, like I said, it was minor, so I didn't need occupational therapy, speech therapy, and all of that when I left the hospital, but I was told to take time off. So I took 2 weeks off. But basically, I look at that situation. It could have been much, much worse, of course, but I really look at that as being the tap on the shoulder from the universe that says, you need to pivot. And that pivot actually got me into entrepreneurship. And I started thinking about creating my own business. And that there's, a major part in my journey that actually, like I said, that pivot or a different route that landed me here today.
Yeah, I totally get the whole pivot, and that was pivotal for you. I would say most people, actually I shouldn't say that. I don't even know that. But people usually have some sort of tragedy or trauma that happens that then shifts the path they were on. It's just like, I'm going along this way, and then something happens and then they shift. I had my life shift when in my late 20s, when I actually I always say everybody left, and there were deaths and there were divorces and like all kinds of things. And it did for a while make it that I was in a survival mode, because that was a lot to get through. But then in my 30s, realized that it's like, okay, now where do I want to go in my life? And I had never really asked myself that. I had never said, what is it that I really want to do? What do I want to start learning? Because that was the other thing. I hadn't really learned anything besides what I learned on my jobs. That's what I did. And that whole thing of learning got me on a path going into, again, entrepreneurship, having my own business, having a coaching business, and that whole thing. And that wouldn't have happened had that whole like year and a half of kind of tragic things happen, losing my dad, that kind of thing. So that, again, having that pivot, and actually then truly being aware of what your life is, and having a moment of like, okay, this happened to me. What am I going to actually do? Not about it, but for myself to continue and grow, because you certainly could have continued doing what you were doing and possibly, died, honestly. I mean, who knows? But you decided that I'm going to pivot and I'm going to go down this path. And honestly, yay that you did, because hello, we're here together.
Right. Exactly.
Yay, this is great.
Well, it led me to the path of meeting my dear friend Lisa. I mean, there's so many different people I met on this journey to being my own, having my own business that I would have never, like you said, ever met if I stayed on the path that I was on with my corporate career, which I'm super, super grateful for. I say that my corporate career was my boot camp. Because it's a skill set that I learned in my corporate career that has allowed me to launch my own business and actually bring those that value to the world of others that want to launch their own business.
Absolutely.
So it was a lesson, lots of lessons were learned, but the universe said, okay, it's time to get on the different tracks and
Yes. Yeah.
go in
Well,
a
and
different route.
it's kind of like that thing of like, there is more to life out there. There's just more to life. And, I was a single mother, trying to survive and, pay bills and that kind of thing. And that's really, like, it was getting very hard for me to be happy, because I was like going, well, is this all there is to life? I was like going, this is not fun. And I'm like, I like having fun. So having that, realizing and being aware then of like, what do I really want to do? Where do I want to go learn what I want to learn? Put you on a path of something else then. And again, grateful that I got to meet you. Like, I wouldn't have met you had you not changed the path you were on. Truly,
Right.
I doubt I would have ever met you.
Right. And this is for a topic for another day, of course, but I believe that we were destined, where I'm going to say, I believe that we were destined to meet, because since we've met, I mean, you and I, it's like when we go back in time and say all the places that we were actually at the same spot.
Right.
We spent a lot of time in some of the same areas, some at the same location. So that's quite interesting. But
yes. Yeah. I kind of forgot about that. It's like, oh yeah, we did, didn't we? Okay. So, now here's a question that it came up in when I was asking what I should ask. And it's like, do you think gratitude is only appreciation, or do you think it's deeper than that?
I definitely think it's deeper than that. I think it's really opening us up to receive. So I think that getting in that practice of being grateful, really is being grateful for what we have, and then allowing us to be open to receiving more. So it is about, because you and I do so much of manifesting, intuition, we're energy alignment and aligning our vision with our values or our beliefs. And to me, this is all part of that process. As a young child, we're taught to say thank you. We're getting into that practice of being grateful. And then as we really start to understand what that can do for us and the world, right? It's like, oh yes, I am grateful for the things that I have, because we learn about that in manifesting, but this is my vision. So it's then allowing us to be open to receive more.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I agree. I wasn't really sure why that question had come up when I was kind of checking, and I was like, that is really it. It's not, when people hear gratitude, it's just like, oh, you just appreciate things that are in your life. And it's like, well, yeah, but it's not just, it's not just appreciating. It is an actual feeling that, there's a word I want to use, but it grows, like it grows within you. I appreciate that, my car works every day. I appreciate that. And I'm grateful for it, and there's just a slight difference to me in that appreciation and being grateful, because my car has been like amazing for 15 years. It's an old
right.
But for 15 years, that bugger's gotten me everywhere. And I love that car. Like the gratitude for me, a lot of time turns into a very loving feeling. And then, like you said, the receiving, then it's you receive from that. So yeah, I actually really love that whole thing of, when you're grateful, you're open to receiving. And this morning I was writing in my journal, and that I turned to a page that I had written, all this stuff, the big audacious goal. And I went, that's right, I have this. And I know it's possible because I am not just worthy, but I'm grateful for everything I have right now in this minute, right now in this minute, right now in this minute. So that's a special, to me, it's special to always have that gratitude. So,
Yeah, I love that.
so anything else as far as gratitude, anything come up for you? Is there anything else that you wanted to say about it?
Yeah, I love that you said feeling, because just before you said that, that's what I got in my gut. It's like, really, it is a feeling. It is
Mhm.
aligning with those feelings of gratitude or being grateful for what we have. Like you said, you're grateful for your car. Your car has been very, very good to you for 15 years. It's been reliable and you love everything about it.
Yep.
And yet, you're also like, okay, what's my next car going to be? So that feeling you want to bring with you into that next evolution of your transportation.
Right.
And so yes, when you said that, I'm like, yep, yes. It's that being open to receive and that feeling.
Yep. Yeah. So gratitude and being open to receive really truly go hand in hand, which I love. That's a sweet spot. Always grateful, receiving. It's just that always makes me feel good. So, you're ever not feeling good, be grateful.
Be grateful.
Changes. So.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for truly participating in this conversation. It's fabulous. And
Yes.
anything that you'd like to sign off with?
I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful to be here with you today. I'm so excited for the opportunity that we have to come together and to talk about these topics that are near and dear to our heart. And thank you for creating this space with me.
Oh, thank you so much. And I too am just so grateful for you and our whole collaboration and our connection that we have, because there is something so very sweet and special about it for me and very near and dear to my heart. So thank you so much. And thank you everybody for listening, and we will see you next time. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.